Everybody, Baruch Hashem, here we are. We're starting a new program, new Shiur on the Zohar Kadosh. The book of Zohar that Shlomo Ben Yochai was megaled to us, revealed to us. It was actually given to Moshe Rabbeinu all the way back. There's nothing that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know, but it was not revealed until the time of Shlomo Ben Yochai. And as we know that this Shiur is not going to be concentrating on Kabbalah, L'Maaseh, what have you. These is beyond the scope of the Shiur. But it's be focusing on actually some of the midrashim and some of the things that we can understand together in order to, like it says, it's promised in the Zohar Kadosh that whoever is learning the Zohar is mekarev the Geula, the final redemption, with happiness and with mercy. Now, we actually started this on Shavuot night because there was a big connection with Moshe Rabbeinu and Matan Torah, Shlomo Ben Yochai, and the pasuk that's brought down in the Tehillim, the mizmor that we said before the tefillah. It says there's a pasuk over there, Alita lamarom shavita shevi. And over there, you see that Moshe Rabbeinu, who went up to the seven heavens to get the Torah, it says Alita lamarom shavita shevi. Shevi is otiyot Shimon ben Yochai, and shavita is otiyot Tishbi, which is Eliyahu Tishbi, who came back in the Gilgul. When Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah came back from the Gilgul of Moshe Rabbeinu, Eliyahu came down to teach him the Sodot of the Torah. And Baruch Hashem, we were zocheh to it in this generation more than other generations, because this is what's going to bring the final redemption. But let's go back to that time that Moshe Rabbeinu went upstairs to get the Torah. There was a big fight, like our sages tell us in the Gemara, between the Malachim and Moshe Rabbeinu. They didn't want to give the Torah. They had a persecution against the Moshe Rabbeinu. Why should the Torah go down to human beings? Keep it up here. It's safer. Over here, everybody's kadosh, holy. Why go down? So actually, because of that fight going back and forth, Moshe Rabbeinu only brought down, he knew everything else, but what he brought down to us is the first parts of the Pardes, which is Pshat, Remez, and Drush. The Sod part, Moshe Rabbeinu did bring down in the form of, and he came back in the Gilgul of Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai, and that's why we have the Zohar today. Baruch Hashem b'zchutam Moshe Rabbeinu, Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai, and Eliyahu who came down to teach Rashbi the Zohar. The Malachim did not want to give the Torah. We know the whole Gemara over there back and forth. Moshe Rabbeinu is fighting and is scared. Hashem says they're giving teshuvah. There's nothing higher than teshuvah. That although we are born of a woman, but we could get to dargot of shlemut more than malachim because we have the teshuvah. But Chazal tell us that Moshe Rabbeinu, whatever he got, although he was told all the sodot and everything the Torah that we have today, including the sodot and the Zohar, whatever it is, Moshe Rabbeinu was given to. But he was only able to bring down and give over to us in the Pardes, where we have Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod. We have the first three, and the Sodot Hashem kept until the time of Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai to reveal openly. And since Moshe Rabbeinu himself came back in the glory of Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai, he was zocheh to bring down the Sodot at the time that he did. Now, why are these Sodot? And also, this is all hinted in the pasuk in Tehillim that we actually say on Shavuot. Nothing is taken for granted over here. It says, Alita lamarom shavita shevi. Why did David HaMelech write in this Tehillim, and we say on this Shavuot, this Tehillim on Shavuot? Because it has everything to do with Moshe Rabbeinu and Rashbi, Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai. If you take the word Alita lamarom, who went up to get the Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu. Shavita is otiyot Tishbi. Eliyahu who comes down in the time of Rabbi Shlomo Ben Yochai to teach him the Zohar. And Shavita Shevi is not than Shimon Bar Yochai. Rashi Tevot Shimon Bar Yochai. So we see over here everything is connected to Shavuot. That's why we started this project of teaching the Zohar B'Siyata D'Shmaya on Shavuot night. And that's why everything is connected over here to Moshe Rabbeinu. Masha Haya, the Masha Yeh. Yeah, Mashaya Hu Sheyeh is Rashi Tevot Moshe, meaning just like we had the first Goel, that we had by Moshe Rabbeinu. The last goal in Moshiach's time is going to be not than Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, you're going to ask, but he's not from the tribe of Yehuda. So this already Rav Chaim Ben Attar answers that it's going to be the Neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu who's going to come back in the body of somebody who's a descendant from Yehuda. So there's no contradiction over here. The first goal is going to be the last goal. Okay, what does that have to do with the Zohar and everything that we have today? So we know, as brought down over here also into the introduction, that we had two sets of luchot. The first ones were broken. The second one was the one we have today. But they were both put in the Aron HaBrit that we had in the Beit HaMikdash, and then I was hidden away until Moshiach comes. Chazal tell us, our Sages tell us, that if the first luchot were not broken, we will never forget our learning, which would have been great. No chazarot, no this. But we know that by the second it got broken because of the Ayin Hara. I'm not going to get into it right now. But Moshe Rabbeinu got a big yesher koyach. Thank you from Hashem that he broke the first tablets, because now with the second tablets we have to do a meilus betorah. We actually have to do chazara, votpam chazara, and that's what Hashem wants. In order to get all the Tumah and all the things that are separating us from Kedusha, what we have over here, Luchot Brit Shneim, the second set of Luchot, this is all the Gemara and Mishnah and Torah that we have today. And that we have to do in order to have, to separate the Kedusha and all the Klipot that were put together between, that's the Etz of Tovera. We know that we are two Etz in the, that we were told that Adam Rishon cannot eat from, and since we ate from it, now we have the Tovera inside of us, and by learning our Torah Nigle, Mishnah, Gemara, Torah Shebal Peh, and Torah Shebichtav, without the Sodot, that's our job to separate the Tahor from the Tameh, the Mutar from the Asur. But there's a Vikuach, there's a Machloket between the Rabbanan and Roshon by Yochai, which is brought down into introduction over here, that before the Moshiach comes, unfortunately they bring around from Pesukim that the Torah is going to be forgotten from Am Yisrael. And gets up Rabbi Shimon by Yochai and says, Chas b'shalom shetishtakach Torah Yisrael. And he brings a pasuk to prove his point that it would never be like such a thing. Shekatuv ki lo tishkach mipi zaro. Why is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai so adamant that the Torah will not be forgotten in the Galut? That's one of the reasons why Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wrote down the Mishnah, which was forbidden to written down, because he saw there's going to be a Galut, everybody's going to forget. In 2,000 years, all the machlokot that we have, the whole Gemara is back and forth machlokot. So why is Rashi coming and telling us, no, it's not going to be forgotten? So the Gemara's answers over there is that they don't mean it's going to be forgotten, but to the level of separating the Tumah and Tahara and all these intricate details of Halacha, you're going to get to a level that we're not going to know anymore. We can't get to the level that we were. So guess Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Chas b'shalom, the Torah will not be forgotten. We could also get to those levels of separating the Tumah and Tahara and Mutar and Asur. And like he says in the Torah, Lo tishakach mipi zaro. Who's he referring to? Himself. And this is not a gava. This is not haughtiness. He saw with his Ruach HaKodesh, with his Anava, and again his Moshe Rabbeinu's Gilgul, and Rav Nachman Mibrosov come and tell us this pasuk when he says Ki lo tishakach mipi zaro sofet tevot Yochai, and this is what is written in Rash in the Miron. When you go over there, it says pasuk over there Ki lo tishakach mipi zaro. The otiot is brought out with another pasuk over there. It says Shimon. He's referring to himself that Hashem through Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who's going to reveal to us the Sodot and the Zohar, is going to help us that we should not forget the Torah in a way that we could actually go to the Sodot of the Torah, and people who go into the learning of the Kabbalah and Zohar, what have you, after they have learned all the Gemarot, the Mishnayot, Halacha, they could actually get to the level of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, where he got to the level of Eitz HaChaim, not Eitz Tovera. Tovera is like separating all the machloket between what's tameh and tahor. But there's a higher level than that, and that's Eitz Chaim. Eitz Chaim is going to be Moshiach's time. But Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah says, I'm going to write the Zohar down now, so that if a person wants to really go deep into the Torah, the Or Ganuz, the Or that was put in the Torah, and Hashem took away and put in the Torah, so that Rishayim wouldn't use it. If a person really studies the Torah the way he should, he'll get to Eitz HaChaim, where he won't see any machlokot. You get to the level of the time of the Mashiach, even before Mashiach comes. But we know that the Shekhinah right now is in the Galut. And when the Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah wrote the Zohar, we know that it was not studied by everybody. Just a few people, selected people, from generation to generation. Until the time of Ari HaKadosh. When he came, and it was Megala the Zohar, of course Ramban had it before then, what have you. But until the Ari HaKadosh came along, and he put everything together, Rabbi Yaakov Hillel says that everything became obsolete. Up to the Ari HaKadosh, when the Ari HaKadosh came, and he told us the way that we should learn the Zohar, and then he became, actually everything became obsolete, and the way we learn it from right now is through the Ari HaKadosh, and afterwards the Gilgul came back in Rashash with all the Kamara, what have you. But what this has to do with us is that he actually wrote the Zohar for the last generation, because the Shekhinah right now is in the Galut. And when the children of God are suffering, the Shekhinah is also suffering. Like it says in the Pasuk, Anochi ito b'Sarah. I'm with him in Sarah. Every pain that we have, the Shekhinah is also, Kiviyachol, as it were, feeling. Until Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah came and wrote the Zohar, and the Zohar is the comfort that the Shekhinah has until the Mashiach comes. And that's why it has not been revealed, as it's brought down here, the Shalach Kadosh in this time already brings down that what people were not Zochetu. I'm going to read it to you. Ashenu matov chalkenu shezachinu lesefer hazohar. This is the Shalach Kadosh talking 500 years. Asher lo zachu kadmonenu asher ktanam ave mematninu kemo Rab Hai Gaon, Rav Shashat Gaon, Rav Eliezer Megameza, the Rokeach, Ramban, Rashba, Raivet. These are Gaonei Olam. They were not Zoche to the Sefer of Zohar until it was Mitgaleh already in the time of the Shalach Kadosh, and he calls himself Dor Acharon. And how much we have to say today that the Dor Acharon that we have today, that Rav Shlomo Ben Rivkah, when he wrote the Zohar, Hashem wanted to be revealed in this generation, because although we are in such a low level, and the Tumah and everything that's going on in the world is all over the world, and we think that there's no end to there's no light at the end of the tunnel, Baruch Hashem, we have the Zohar Kadosh. Does that mean you should leave away the Halacha, Gemara, Mishnah, and concentrate on the Zohar? Obviously not. Because without knowing the introduction to things, you could never get to the Zohar. If you don't know the basics, what the Halacha wants from you, you cannot get to the Sodot. You can't skip steps. Pardes goes from Pshat, Remez, Drush, Sod. So obviously, at the time that you learn Halacha and what have you, you could never stop from that. But like Rav Ezra Dayan told me, I couldn't say this myself, one of the big rabbis over here, teaches Levaron. He brings it in the name of the halacha figures that one daf of Zohar is compared to 1,000 dafs of Gemara. That doesn't mean that you should leave the Gemara and not leave halacha and just stick to Zohar. Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah also learned Mishnayot and is one of the 5 students of Rabbi Akiva that we have all the Torah Shenigda that we have today, Mishnayot, Gemara. Obviously, he didn't put it away and go and learn Zohar all day. But after you learn all that, and you keep learning that and doing Chazarah, that we can't forget the Zohar Kadosh, that this is actually what the HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to be in this generation, to bring the final redemption with Chesed Rachamim. And we're going to end up with this piece, and B'ezrat Hashem next week we're going to go into the book more. Like I said, this is more of an introduction, but we know that this last Lag Omer, we were not zocher to go up to Miron, for Shlomo Ben Rivkah's kever. For those of us who are in Eretz Yisrael, everybody was upset, but because of the milchama and the war, we understood the situation. But like I heard in Hashem, a very big gadol, it says that Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah, he's the most angry, because in his Hilulah, for generations after generations, how everybody went to Rashbi and Lag Omer, and they were sameach in the simcha of Rabbi Shlomo Ben Rivkah. This year it couldn't happen. And why? Because of the war. and because of all the missiles that are coming down on us from Hezbollah. And Hashem sees all that, and Moshe Shlomo Bar Yochai, who wrote the Zohar for this last generation, he's going to go Lifnei Kisei HaKavod, and he's going to pray to Hashem that Hashem Himself would take care of all our enemies. The army, what have you, we have to do our ishtadlut. But what we're learning over here, Zohar Kadosh, Gemara, Mishnah, Halacha, this is what's going to get us out of the galut. Because the last war, it won't be fought by human beings. Hashem Himself will come and redeem all of us, b'zchut the Torah, especially b'zchut the Zohar Kadosh. Shenizkeh kulanu, and we should be zocher to the geula, b'mehera, v'chesed v'chaimim, amen.